The story we're going to share today takes place in Nunavut, Canada's northernmost and largest territory in the tundra region. Known for its remote and rugged environment, this area is home to 28,000 Inuit people and is a popular destination for tourists who are drawn to the frigid weather conditions and the unique way of life of the local people. Nunavut is also famous for being a prime location to witness the northern lights and spot various Arctic animals like narwhals, seals, walruses, beluga whales, and the most fearsome of them all, the polar bear. The video we're sharing today is about a horrifying true story of a woman who was attacked by a polar bear while studying beluga whales in Pond Inlet, an Inuit hamlet within Nunavut. The woman, Aldina Moore, was part of a team of 13 wildlife researchers who were sent to Nunavut to study beluga whales, which are known as the sea canaries of the ocean. Aldina had always been fascinated by beluga whales and was thrilled to have the opportunity to study them up close. When the researchers arrived at their campsite near the coast, they were helped by two local Inuits, Yotamo and Hanta, to set up their camp. They had individual sleeping bags, a research tent, and a table to eat and store their food, supplies, gear, and other essentials. After setting up camp, Aldina and the other researchers took a short break before starting their research. Aldina went to Yotamo and Hanta to ask about the area, and if there were any hazards she should be aware of. Hanta told Aldina that tourists had visited the area and returned home safely, but they were also terrified by the polar bears they had seen. Yotamo warned Aldina about the polar bears and told her that they were native to the area and usually went to a nearby spot to cool down or eat food from their hunting expeditions. As long as Aldina and the other researchers didn't do anything to threaten or provoke the polar bears, they would be safe. With this assurance, Aldina and the other researchers started to set up the net they had made to catch a beluga whale. They dropped the net in the water and assigned themselves 24-hour shifts to monitor it for signs of a beluga whale. Aldina was assigned the afternoon shift and was accompanied by two other researchers, Rita and Nicholas. As they sat and watched the net, they suddenly heard a loud noise coming from the nearby bushes. Aldina and the others quickly realized that a polar bear had entered the area and was heading towards them. The polar bear was fast and caught Aldina in its huge paws in no time. The other researchers tried to intervene, but they were no match for the powerful bear. In the end, Aldina was severely injured, and the other researchers had to call for help. This story serves as a reminder of the dangers of the Arctic wilderness and the need to always be prepared and cautious when visiting this remote and rugged environment. People should always respect the animals that live in the Arctic and take the necessary precautions. After taking a short nap, Aldina was woken up by one of her colleagues, and it was finally her turn to watch the net. She sat down on a portable chair with two other researchers, Rita and Nicholas, and they started their shift. They watched the net for any signs of a beluga whale and talked to each other to pass the time. But suddenly, Aldina noticed a movement from the corner of her eye. When she turned her head, she saw a large, white figure that was quickly approaching their camp. It was a polar bear, and it was moving towards them at a rapid pace. Panic and fear struck Aldina and the other two researchers as they quickly realized that the polar bear was about to attack them. They tried to call out for help, but their screams were barely audible over the sound of the wind and the waves. Aldina ran towards the camp, hoping to find safety, but the bear was too fast and caught her in its huge paws in no time. The bear lifted Aldina off the ground, and she felt its sharp claws dig into her flesh. Aldina screamed in pain and terror as the bear started to drag her away. Rita and Nicholas quickly called for help, and the other researchers came running towards them. They tried to distract the bear and save Aldina, but the bear was too strong and it continued to drag her away. The other researchers realized that they had no choice but to retreat and call for help. They ran back to the camp and used their satellite phone to call for help. Within minutes, a helicopter was sent to their location, and the researchers were rescued. However, Aldina was never found, and it was assumed that she had been killed by the polar bear. Her death was a harsh reminder of the dangers of the Arctic wilderness, and it served as a cautionary tale for those who venture into these remote and harsh regions. From that day forward, the researchers made sure to take all necessary precautions when conducting their research in the Arctic, and they never ventured into the wilderness without proper protection and guidance. The story of Aldinamore serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of respecting the power and ferocity of nature, especially in remote and dangerous environments like the Arctic. The polar bear is a magnificent and awe-inspiring creature, but it is also one of the most dangerous animals on the planet. Those who venture into its territory should always be aware of its potential to cause harm and take all necessary precautions to protect themselves.